Welcome to Red Stars Report, a podcast for fans of Chicago Stars FC and a community for everyone. I am your host, LT.
And I am your co host, Liz.
The Chicago Stars got a point, which is unlike them, but good.
We like
Uh,
points.
we do like points. I like points plural. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, so 2-2 against Angel City. There's some stuff to talk about leading up to this match. There's stuff to talk about during the match. A lot of just like housekeeping stuff. Alyssa Nair, when she was injured in the last match, now she was out for this one. Hallie Makowitz got her first NWSL start, which was nice to see. I thought she did a decent job for a team like Angel City, who's like number 2 in the league in shots on goal. So that's pretty good to only let up 2 goals. We had Jamise Joseph is injured, is on the injury report. We saw her in a boot during the U23s, so that was kind of an expected thing. Leilani Nesbitt was out. Who am I missing? There's a whole
Oh, Julia
handful of people.
Grosso
Julia Grosso was injured during the international break when she was with Canada,
and B. Franklin.
and B. Franklin is in concussion protocols from that hit that she took in the last match. So kind of coming into this, it was sort of like, what are they gonna do? Like, who's gonna be in this lineup? But I think the best surprise was that Natalia Kuika came off of the 45-day injured list, and she didn't start, but she eventually got into the match. So incredible to see Natalia again. We saw Jenna Bike get her first start of the year. We saw Mana Hayashi, who went from like a healthy scratch to a starter in 1 week or 2 weeks because the entire midfield was injured. And then we just had I said Hallie Makowitz got her first NWSL start. So just all around, just like players getting thrown in there and sort of having to make stuff work.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and it's one of those things like Angel City's coming in. It's their coach's first time with the team. I think they said that he got one practice with them or
Yeah.
something like that prior
He'd
to
only
this
been there
game.
since Sunday or something and got one practice in with them.
Yep. And so it's like, well, it was kind of a perfect storm for Chicago. Like they've got a bunch of people out there trying to make stuff work. Changes sometimes you don't want people to get hurt. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes just changing stuff up, you can have some positive results. I think that Chicago came out on the front foot with their with what they had. I was impressed by Mana Hayashi. I thought that she was really, really good in the game. As you said, seeing Kuika come back. Kuika looks like Kuika.
Oh man.
Looks like Kuika.
When she made a recovery run from past midfield all the way to the box to save a shot, I was like, this is this is what we need. This is who we've been missing all season. Like, she's just incredible. I hope she's in the starting lineup next match because the small shift that she got. I in the Discord player of the match voting, I voted for Kuika because I feel like she made like 3 plays near the end of the match that were probably goal saving, and I was like, this, she deserves it. Like, to come in and do like a 20-minute shift and immediately just knock it out of the park like you haven't been gone for 3 months. So
Yep, it
it
was
was great.
impressive. I believe I said during the game in the Discord something like that Staub and Kuika are second to none in the league when it comes to recovery runs. They know their speed, they know how to position themselves to get back, they know what diagonals to take. They are so good at it. It's so like I don't want to see them making recovery runs. It's not great, but they
No.
are very good at it.
Yeah, the way that they sort of allow their center backs to sort of step up to those forwards who are closer to like hanging back in the midfield. really allows the opposing team to have opportunities if things go wrong to be able to make those runs. So when you have quick defenders and smart defenders like Natu and Sam, it makes those risks of stepping forward like that a lot less risky.
I agree. And I think that Maitani Lopez also needs to be thrown in there for that
So
because
good.
she I feel like she makes everyone surrounding her on the field feel safer because she makes our midfielders feel like they can move forward and be more attacking. It feels like the outside backs can move forward up the field because she can drop back into those positions if she has to. She can drop into center back. I think she can do so many different things
She
that,
fills space well.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's great.
It's it's
I
so
love
good.
her.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
quickly becoming one of
incredibly
my
impressed.
favorites.
Yeah, what a fantastic signing. Like
Mhm.
what a fantastic signing.
Yeah, she's kind of one of those players that kind of go unnoticed if you're just sort of casually watching the match, but like all the little teeny things that she does just help like you said, everyone around her. It just and I think that's something that helped Mana a lot in her first and going 90 minutes, Mana, like hell yeah, that's that's killer. The what she was able to do alongside Maitani, I think really helps a rookie immensely. Like to be able to have that sort of like safeguard to your left side is incredibly important, and Maitani provides that for the people in front of her and behind her as well.
Mana was so impressive. You can see the vision that she has.
Oh
You can
yeah,
see that she can see 3 steps in front of her of what she thinks is going to happen and how she can open up spaces. And I would like to see her get more minutes in the future because I think she deserves it. I think she is the future in the midfield for this team. And it was a fantastic opportunity given the circumstances to put her out there. I think that she played really well. Obviously, there's things to work on, but there's a lot of moving parts right now with the team too, because there were a lot of people that had not probably played a lot together out there. So the passing accuracy as the team has been poor for most of the season. It wasn't super great this game either, but I will say that I was impressed because I could see what Mana was trying to do sometimes, and sometimes the passes didn't connect. But and as you said, like a casual watcher might be like, oh, well, that wasn't very good. But I can see what she's trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
And so I'm
And it
like,
just comes with reps.
yeah, I like the vision and learning, yeah, learning where your teammates are going to be and that sort of thing. I was really impressed with her getting her first start and then, yeah, as you said, playing a full 90. She was cramping there at
She
the end, but
was.
she was fighting through it.
She hadn't done that yet in her professional career, so she was getting like anywhere between like 5 and 10 minutes before. Like, yeah, not a whole lot of minutes, but you're so right about her vision, and I mean, right off the bat, um, the intelligence to you're playing in a defensive midfield position, but you saw what was advancing right after kickoff and immediately makes a run as a forward to goal and gets a beautiful ball played to her and gets a shot on goal, which is probably the quickest shot on goal Chicago's had all season. And it's something that I've said before about Mana um, for several weeks is that she just sort of she makes things happen. The first match that she came into, I think I don't remember how many minutes she played, but it was barely anything, and she had like three created chances on goal or something, or three or four created chances, scoring chances, and it's like, how are you not on the field?
Yeah.
Like for a team that needs people to create chances, like a player like her needs to be out there. Maybe not in a starting role, but certainly off the bench after 60 or 70 minutes. Like you need more from everybody, and a player like her can provide that with her intelligence and with her vision.
Yeah, I think that she has been a fantastic signing. Obviously, she played at Santa Clara prior and was solid there, has played in the youth system in Japan. She plays that Japanese style. Like you can see the technical skill that's there and just was incredibly impressed. Yeah, I agree. I think she needs to have more minutes. I think that she needs to be out there because she creates and we don't have a lot of options. I don't feel like off the bench always that are people that can create for themselves or create for others. We don't have those sort of players, and we have a couple. She's one of them. Michaela Johnson is another one, in my opinion, that needs more minutes. Um,
Got
and
zero.
and got zero in this game, which I thought was an incorrect move. So that's unfortunate. I have figured with Jamise being out injured that we were absolutely going to see MJ in this game, and I thought that we'd see her earlier than we have been, and then we didn't see her at all.
Yep.
I thought that was an interesting move, but I think that those two are definitely future stars for this team. And I I just wish that I could see them out there together because I think that would be really fun.
Let's talk about the first goal that Chicago scored because it was kind of insane. Like obviously later on we're going to talk about what we hate, like the things that went against Chicago in this match, but the what went for Chicago was Nadia Gomes comes into the match, first sub off the bench, and she's someone who really hasn't provided a whole lot this season. And I think she's gotten a couple of chances on goal in this match. I think she got two chances on goal, one that went in, obviously, this one. But what was crazy about this one is she was literally just going down the right flank and trying to take the ball off of her outside of her left foot to just shovel it over into the box, I think to Allie, who was making a run. And it goes off of the defender's shin and skies in the air and just falls right behind the keeper and goes into goal. Like for her first NWSL goal. Like what the heck? That was insanity. I was just like staring at my TV like what what just
I
happened?
don't even know. Like I've watched the replay numerous times. And I was like, that is one of the most bizarre goals I've ever seen
Yeah.
because there was absolutely not a shot. It
No.
took a wild deflection and just perfectly boom right into the back of the net.
And I
Like,
don't know if was it Anderson who was the keeper for Angel City? Yeah.
I
I
believe
don't
so,
know if
yes.
Anderson didn't initially like see the ball go up. I need to go back and look at that. But she was just like backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling, and then it was behind her. And it was like, wait, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't it was luck. That was one of those things that I'm like, okay, that makes up for some of the crap that has
Yeah,
happened all
maybe this is
season.
on our side
Yes.
today, and then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't.
Um,
But it was a solid like, that's why like you do things. That's why deflections can happen. That's why I'm always saying we need to take more shots outside goal or outside the 18. We need to do more to get the ball in the box because own goals can happen. Wild things can happen.
mhm.
I don't think that her intention at all was for that to deflect and go into the back of the net, but when you try to get balls into the mix, things can happen. And that's why I wish that we would attempt more shots outside, which we will get to later.
Yeah. The the thing it's like own goals, forcing an own goal on a team, and then deflections like this are the same thing. Like putting something towards the box will make things happen. That's the game of soccer. Like just get the ball into the box and try to make things happen. And Nadi was trying to get the ball, I think, to Ali, and the way that ball just flew up in the sky was incredible. And then I think just a few minutes later, she got another shot on goal, which was nice to see her, try to get something going because she's, like I said, a player who hasn't provided a whole lot. Not that any players on this team have provided a whole lot scoring this season, but she got one under her belt. That's good. And it coming after sort of like a deflating moment because Angel City got their first goal off of a great cross into the box. And just as I stated before, you get the ball in the box, good things are going to happen. And Cam either had to let it go and have it score on the backside or make a play on it and have it score off of Kennedy Fuller in front of the box. Um, so that's kind of what happened. And it was really deflating. Like there was nothing Cam could do other than just decide which player she wanted to give the goal to. So that was a deflating moment. So then to come back and sort of get this sort of lucky goal to tie things up and sort of shift the momentum into Chicago's favor, I thought was incredibly important.
Yeah, I thought Nadia had the best minutes I've seen her play for Chicago in that game. She was getting back, she was getting some takeaways from Angel City, a lot of hustle, making that happen. I was really impressed. But Cam Bogolski, yeah, she kind of had to just make a decision,
Yeah,
but she has been so good this season.
it's amazing to see.
Yeah.
And in this match, like going up against Alyssa Thompson, who's kind of been on fire, and Tiernan at times, who's also been on fire. Um, she did stellar against both of those players. So
Yep.
I was continuously impressed with Cam as I have been all season. It's nice to have her back as she was missing last match. And then now it's sort of like with Natu back, like what do you do? Like
She's
what
got to be out there. She's got to be out there. I feel like she does.
yeah, I feel the same. Like I I would be interested in seeing a this was an interesting part about this match. The last two matches, or just last two matches, they've been playing in this three back.
Mhm.
Um, I think it went back two matches. I could be wrong. Um, so they went to this three back situation. I think it was just last match because Cam was gone. So Hannah Anderson came in to play the centermost center back. Love to see it. Hannah Anderson, amazing player who's on the bench for no reason. Um, and then Sam playing to her left, and I think it was Carrie playing to her right. And then we had wing backs of I think Shay was playing wing back, and then Taylor. I would like to see a three back with Natu playing a right wing back or a left wing back, and then have Cam, Hannah, and Sam in the middle, and Taylor on the outside of the other one. Ta-da!
Yeah, I agree. You could also
Those are your five best defenders
you could also throw
on the
Jenna Bike back there
pitch.
in a wing back
So
position if you
true.
really
Which
wanted
she
to.
kind of was playing this match. She
Yeah.
kind of falls into those tendencies early in her career
Yes.
of playing defense. So that's what she knows. It's what she's good at. It was nice to see Jenna back, and you could put her certainly in a wing back position. But you gotta find a way to put Natalia in this lineup without
Yes.
sacrificing Cam. Like I think Cam going into this match was like second in the league in tackles or something. Like you
Yes.
don't pull that player from your lineup. That's crazy. You don't do
No.
that.
She honestly, it's because of Chicago's record, which is unfortunate, but she should be in the NWSL best 11 for the month.
Yeah, she's been like she's had to go up against the best players on every team so far this season. And like I said, like Angel City, like Alyssa Thompson and Tiernan have been having fantastic seasons, and neither of them got a goal. Like
Yep.
thanks to Cam.
It
So
was 5 total shots
yeah,
on goal.
a team that gets like the most or one of the most top five shots on goal in the league to only get five shots on goal off of them when you are the team that lets up the most goals in the league with a rookie goalkeeper, like
And
the
how many people out did like in on the
everything on
field?
paper screamed like blowout.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and it's like it's great that that Hallie could get just like those two shots go past her, because like any other day, I think Angel City probably puts up a lot more on Chicago, but the defenders were stopping so much before they even got to Hallie that she barely even needed to make any like drastic saves. Like I think the club posted like the save of the game, and it was literally just like a shot that like lazily bounced in front of goal that she picked up. Like she didn't have, like her defenders were doing their job and making sure um what was coming to her was not um uh hard to stop. And obviously uh the Kennedy Fuller one was inevitable, as I said. Like it just had to be one player or the other. And then the second goal, I think Hallie probably could have gotten her hands up a little quicker, and stopped it instead of shouldering it, which led it to skip past her. But I thought she did a good job either way, and her defense in front of her did their job for the most part.
I mean, yeah, I think everybody thought it was going to be a blowout and a tie. I mean, I think when you look at the game, if somebody would just show you the score of that game, I think most fans of Chicago would be like, great. But when you watch the game, you're like, oh, I'm disappointed just because everybody knows what happens, which we're going to get into in a
Yeah.
bit. But I think for a keeper's first ever professional game, she was very confident in the box, which I
Yeah.
appreciated seeing. I think having Sam Staub back there is fantastic.
Always makes it easier.
And then when Kuika gets subbed into a game on top of it, you're like, all right, like here we go.
Oh yeah. I mean the early matches of Sam and Natu playing center back last season were like some of the best minutes of center backs I had ever seen. That tandem is incredible. Now I don't want Natu to have to play center
We
back.
have Hannah Anderson.
I
Please
know,
play
I know,
her
I know,
as
I
center back
know.
alongside Sam Staub, please.
I know. Which is what they did. Like when they played the first time they shifted Natu over to outside back in this era of the Stars was the Wrigley match, and they moved her over there and put Hannah at center back, and Hannah thrived, and they were like, okay, well, we won't move you from there. You are our center back, and then somehow she lost that position. Uh,
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate, incredibly unfortunate. But let's talk about something that was incredible, which was Ali Schlegel's
I love it.
unbelievable shot. First of all, great pass from Maitani, who we were talking about earlier, to set up Ali in space. Great turn and run by Ali. And then she shot it from where? Where was it?
33.4. Oh,
34.4
oh, I was
yards away,
close.
which is the longest by a Chicago Stars player since Opta started data collecting in 2016. So, like, my favorite part was probably who was on the commentating team on Ion. It
It was
was it
Jordan
was
Angeli and
Jordan
Mora.
Angeli.
Yeah.
The fact that Ali shoots that shot, and Maura Sheridan is trying to just like call like a great goal uh announcement, and Jordan Angeli just goes, "Oh my God."
And then apologized.
It's like that goal was unbelievable, and for Ali's first of the season, which was so great to see. And the fact that she was so like chill about her celebration, she was just like, yeah, raise the roof. straight face, nothing. Everyone's like wanting to celebrate with her, and she's like, like I just did that. It's so good. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was yeah, I was stunned
I think
and
they
it
were,
was
I don't think
amazing.
that Angel City expected her to shoot it.
Oh, absolutely not. No one stepped there.
Yeah, no, but
Like,
everybody's like, they're gonna dribble it, like she's gonna dribble it to the box or pass it to somebody, and she just let it rip.
mm,
I would love to know like velocity and things on that.
ooh,
Obviously,
that
we
would be
don't have that
nice.
sort of information. But I would love to know just because. But this is again what I was talking about earlier. This is why you shoot outside the box because you can catch people off guard. They don't expect it. You can catch keepers in weird places because when you're outside the box, they usually are kind of a little bit forward and you can catch them out a little bit. And just a rocket. I don't it was so good. And the way everybody like hugged her afterwards, it was cute. It She has deserved a goal this year. And I'm hoping that that just propels her on to score some more this year because she is a goal scorer, and it's hard when you're not scoring goals to maintain a confidence in your play. And I think Allie's a very confident player, so I don't worry about that much with her. But seeing the ball hit the back of the net is always a good thing. And, you know, I think it stunned Jordan Angeli. It stunned me, and I think it stunned Angel City because that ended up putting Chicago ahead in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what made it 2-1. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, are we gonna win this? That was,
And then chaos
and then
ensued.
chaos ensued. Not what was it, like 2, 3 minutes later?
Yeah, it was like
Um,
very, very rapid after that.
there's a ball into the box, a shot on goal. It goes in. There's a whistle for a foul on Ludmila for presumably stepping on
For being in the box, pretty
Anderson.
much.
You go back and look at the replay. She does not step on Anderson. If anything, Anderson rolls her arm onto Ludmila, who's standing still in that moment. So shouldn't have been called. The goal would have been a goal if you just let that play out and then call a foul and then VAR it. I mean, Chicago's luck, it probably wouldn't have gone their way
They would have found
anyway,
a reason.
because now here we go. The play does stop and they do go to a VAR review in a very confusing situation because there's a potential handball on Vignola. And the commentators, all of the NWSL fandom is just like, oh, it touched Vignola's hand. That's a handball. Easy as
Up
easy
over
as
her
can
head.
be. It bounces off of her after the block. Her arm's up in the air. It bounces up, hits her arm. She kind of swats at it
Yes, her
too.
arm's moving towards the goal, and she
Mm-hmm.
like hits it towards the goal.
Yep. And then the VAR says no, there's no handball. And then pro referee comes out with their statement and it says prior to the ball touching the hand, Angel City number 16 successfully blocked a shot with her leg. After the successful block, the ball significantly changed direction and bounced off the ground unexpectedly, making contact with the hand, which to me sounds like a handball. Like there's nothing in their statement that says that her hand being above her head is a justifiable position, which is what a handball can be negated by, is by your hand being in a place in your body that is a justifiable position. Your hand being above your head moving forward is not a justifiable position to me. Um, for some reason it was to VAR, and they said no handball when there clearly was a ball and a hand that touched it.
I I don't even know.
It's just classic Chicago, isn't it? We just keep getting screwed by VAR.
I have never seen, in my opinion, in a lot of games, a very clear handball not given. That to me was point blank handball. Jordan Angeli's like, that's hands. Like, that's a PK.
Oh
On the
yeah.
broadcast, PK. Like, when your hand is above your head, that is not within your normal body position to defend or to whatever. And it's not even the fact that it's above her head, it's the fact that she swats at it. Her arm is moving down and she downward hits it, oddly enough, into the path of Ludmila, who then scores. And then the fact that the referee blew the play dead before Ludmila scores, when all the time we see them not blow the whistle on offside, somebody gets nailed and hurt. And then they put up the flag and like, oh no, offside, but we wanted to see what was happening. But no, in this play, we decide to blow it during all the freaking chaos, and the ball ends up in the back of the net, so we can't give Chicago a goal. And we end up with no handball, no goal, and foul on Chicago, phantom foul on Ludmila, and okay, Angel City, you can have the ball back. And then they proceed to go and score in the next few minutes. Because that goal would have, whether they scored on a penalty kick or they gave Ludmila the goal, would have put Chicago up 3-1 in that game.
Which they have not done this season. They haven't even
So
scored 3 goals this season in
I
one game.
I just feel like, and I've said this before, I don't understand the rules. And I have played this game since I was in kindergarten. And the fact that I can't tell you what is hands and what is a penalty, like in this league, is frustrating to me. I can't even imagine what it's like for the players. I can't imagine what it's like for the coaches. I'm blown away as to how these calls, like nobody, like from week to week you get a different description of why something's a penalty or why something's not, why something is hands and why something isn't. And I think it's very confusing, and I think that conversations need to be had because the Gotham game this weekend, there was so much crap in that game that occurred too. A lot of wild calls. Gotham ended up scoring several goals that were called back for a variety of reasons, and everybody's like, "What is going on?" Like they scored, and then the play restarted in their game, and then the ref blew the whistle, like blew the whistle. And was like, "Hold on, we're gonna go back and review." And they're like, "Hey, no, the game started. You can't go back and review it since play started." And they're like, "No, no, no, I never blew my whistle, even though I'm pretty sure they did." Just get it together, people. I just want consistency. I don't care if it's, I agree with it. I just want consistency.
Yeah, pro referee currently has a problem, and it's across all leagues. I know that MLS fans have had their own issues with pro referee for many years, so it's not new, but it feels like so hyper focused for us currently because this is probably like the fourth or fifth time VAR has absolutely screwed over Chicago this season, which just makes the score lines even more annoying. Like even if they do end up like losing certain games that these VAR overturns have occurred in, it's like that's the difference between losing 2-1, 2-0 and then 2-1
Mhm.
instead. Like the goal differential just keeps like going up and up and up and up because Chicago has no opportunities to take these PKs that should be PKs. And it's
They haven't had one all
crazy.
year.
I know, but they should have had like
Yeah.
4 by now.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Like every single week. And the crazy part is like the former soccer players on all these commentaries on the broadcasts are always stunned that these calls get overturned. They're like, oh, yeah, this is obviously going to be a PK. This is obviously a handball, whatever. And it always gets overturned. They're like, oh, and then you listen to those stupid pro referee reviews and they agree with their people, of
They never
course.
disagree ever.
I remember them disagreeing a couple of times, like a season or two ago, which was nice to see, but then like pisses you off even more because you're like, what do you mean you were wrong? Um, and yeah, I hope they put this one into their little YouTube videos this week because
It's going to be like an hour long
I
because
would love.
Gotham's whole game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Gotham's whole game would be insane. They probably will just focus on that one instead of this handball. But the
But it
hand,
should be because
but
I want to hear.
this is a crucial moment in the game because, like you said, the deflation of not getting a goal and then not getting a PK completely shifts the momentum of this match. And then Angel City goes down and scores what, like 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, something like that. It's like it's unacceptable. Like you can't do this. And I think the worst part about it is the blowing the whistle before the play's even over. Like that ball's bouncing around in the box, just let it play out. Like what is the point? It's like I'd understand step like playing I would understand blowing the whistle if Ludmila had like stepped on Anderson's head or something. Like yeah, stop the match. But the fact that it was like her toe was near her hand is like, why are you stopping the play? Like, this is crazy.
I I don't know. I am so I can't even talk about it anymore because it just frustrates me because it feels like when I can't understand the rules, it makes the game not fun. Like
Yeah.
because and I feel like that's a frustrating thing for the players. Like you see these players getting so frustrated with the referees and they're having these very animated conversations with them and then the refs are getting mad. Oh, the players shouldn't be doing this. Then call the game right. Let it play out. You let a lot of stuff play out. Why are you blowing the whistle there? What are we doing? Like
Mhm.
I just do not understand. Like we've had numerous plays or times this season across the league where players have like been having these very animated conversations with the ref because nobody knows the rules. And then you hear these statements come out from the refs and you're like, that makes zero sense. And it's like you're just trying to cover what you did, is what you're doing, because you're contradicting something that you said earlier
Yeah, I think
in
that
the
statement makes
season.
perfect sense. They say the ball touched her hand. That's what that statement says. It
And my
doesn't
whole
say
thing is
anything else.
this whole thing of like, well, the ball can deflect and then do this. Like, okay, but it's still hands. Like, that's just saying if a player decides to kick it up to themselves, they can just punch it out of the air.
Right. Yeah. If a ball now gets deflected and skies in the air, like let's say the Nadia Gomes thing happens and that ball's flying into the air. I guess an Angel City player can just go up there
Deflection.
and smack the ball out of the goal and be like, ah, you know what? It cooked an unexpected bounce off the like what? That doesn't make any
I mean,
sense.
my whole thing is how many times is a handball is it an expected like the person's expectedly like reaching out to try
Oh,
and
of
stop it.
course.
It's unexpected.
It's
Everything's
always
unexpected.
handball has always been non-intention based. Like it's with whether it's intended to or not intended to hit your hand, it's a handball. That's what it's always been. And then you have because I did research on handballs leading up to this, like the rules talk about like justifiable positions for your hands to be in. And it reminded me when I was reading about them, the Carrie Recaro one where she was sliding in the box and the ball hit her hand that was planted to like any player plants. And in the rules, it talks about the justifiable position of a player who's going to ground, like their hand being on the ground, as is the position where you put your hand when you're sliding to the ground, is a justifiable position. So then calling that a handball, like they did, makes no sense according to the rules. So, like, it's just over and over and over again. It just becomes so deflating and so annoying
Well,
that
and then you've got the Pogarsh play from this year where she was on the ground, it hit her in the hand, and she
yep.
shoved the ball away, and they didn't even review it.
Yep,
Like,
she intentionally pushed the ball away from her body and they didn't even review it. Yep. Just once again, just over and over again. And like I said, it's not like these moments could, I mean, this one specifically, I think could have helped Chicago win this
they would have
match.
won the game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then the other ones, maybe, maybe not, but that's not the point. Like, I'm not screaming about that. Like, if they lost or won this match, I'd still be annoyed by this. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. It's just the principle of uh
Consistency.
of consistency. Yeah. The refs just need to be they need to pick what a specific rule means and stick with it. They they
Yes.
they have to stop doing this back and forth and they just need to all be retrained. That's
And let it play out. Like, let that play out. There was clearly going to be, within the next 10 to 15 seconds, that play was going to end one way or another. So to blow that whistle when he did was so wrong.
yeah, it reminded me of because this will be relevant because the next match that Chicago plays is at Soldier Field. It reminded me of the last Soldier Field game that Chicago played when Mal was going one on one with Sheridan when the team was already up a player because Abby Dahlkemper had a red card and Mal got fouled and she was still running with the ball, going one on one with Sheridan, and they blew the whistle to give her the foul like 5, 10 yards back. And Mal's like, "What are you doing? Like, play the advantage. Like, are you insane? Like, what is happening here? This is nuts."
You probably
And
would have
that's
got a
what that
red card
reminded
on
me of.
Sheridan in that play at the end, is probably what would have happened.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. It just reminded me of that, of like just refs blowing the whistle too early and not letting
Yes.
things play out. And things like that have always annoyed me. And they continue to annoy me to this day because that was what, 2022 that match was in. Yeah, that was
Maybe.
a long time ago, and I'm still thinking about
Well,
it.
I'm mad about the missed PK in that game too, so there's
Oh
also
yeah,
that.
that's true. That was a bad one.
But it's like, so that's the thing that's frustrating because I feel like there's very clear offside that happens in games too, and the refs let it go. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden they blow it dead after there's like a huge collision that was completely unnecessary. But in this, nobody specifically knew what was happening fully. So you have to let that sort of thing play out. So I just don't understand in their minds as a ref, and I've never refed a game, so I can't speak on it, but why they decided that that's when we want to blow. I'm assuming that it was on accident. I'm assuming that it was, oh crap, my fault. Like I should have waited, but now it is what it is, and I have to. There were too many things happening on that play, but
Yeah.
I just don't understand how it's not a handball. I Everybody can tell me whatever, and that when if they do a review on it in the video, I like they can tell me what they're gonna say, but that to me was clear as day hands in any sort of situation. If your
Yeah.
hand is above your head and you are moving your hand towards the ball and you hit the ball, that is hands. I don't know how it's not.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Like we've seen uh that kind of play before be called handball. So it's like
And it
it
would have
just
been a
doesn't make
yellow
any
card on
sense.
top of it. That's
That's
the other
true.
thing.
Yeah, because it was Um yeah, we've talked about this enough. Uh
Let's keep going. Just
let's
kidding.
keep going. Let's talk about other horrible situations that Chicago's been in now.
Yay.
The I think the team overall uh I think it was mentioned on the broadcast, kind of shocked Angel City that they kind of came back to their 4-2-4 sort of formation instead of going with that three back like they had been. Angel City, obviously under a new coach, they were trying some different things that I feel like also hindered them from their normal style in the match. And so it was kind of just like two teams that were kind of figuring things out, kind of colliding. And I guess a draw is sort of what you kind of expect in a match like that. We'll kind of see what happens moving forward. We don't know many updates on the status of our current injured players. We'll get those to you eventually later this week. And then we don't know kind of who's gonna play now that Natu's back. I hope she gets the start. I just don't know who's gonna be benched.
Depends on
Yeah,
if they're doing a 3 or 4 back too.
that's true. Yeah. I hope they go back to the three back. I thought it worked for them. I felt like, I mean, not worked entirely, but we talked about the passing accuracy earlier. Like this, like 4-2-4 is not like super conducive to the kinds of passes that they want to make. Um, and I felt like at times the three back really was leading to those connections. And they did in that three back have more possession, have better passes. They had more passes, but that was mostly just them setting things up across the back line to each other. But I still think even without those uh, lazy passes between uh, the defenders, they still would have had more passes than they've had all year in a match. So I'm surprised that they kind of went back to the four back, but I think that was just because Cam was back, so they just reverted back to what they were doing before she was injured. But I'd like to see them try that again. I felt like they were kind of hitting a little bit of a groove with it, and I'd like to see something a little more different because most of this match was just kind of not great soccer.
No, bad passing, not just it's tough. It's with new people, and maybe that's what they thought that maybe going back to maybe they thought the system would work for the players that they had.
Yeah,
I'll be curious to see what happens with Kuika back, and what they decide. I think that's going to be interesting. And then if B. Franklin's back, if Julia Grosso's back, who's going to play in the midfield, and how's that going to go? And how long is Alyssa out? We don't know. And so there's a lot of questions. We do know some people that will definitely be out there, if healthy. So we continue. The other thing is how many minutes fit is Kuika? That's the other
true.
question. So we'll see.
She looked plenty.
I agree.
She looked plenty fit. She was man. She looked like herself out there. That was kind of wild to see her just progress that quickly into form, which is probably just like me misremembering because then she'll actually get into form. It'll be like, oh, this is Natalia Kuika in form because her out of form is still better than most players in this league.
Insane. It's just so fast. I forgot how fast she was
Incredible.
because I
Like
don't think people talk about her for her speed. I
not
really don't,
not always, no. It's more so just like her ability to create offense.
which is why she needs to play outside back and not center back.
So true. So true. Next week, as I mentioned, is the Soldier Field match doubleheader with the Chicago Fire. They're playing Seattle Rain, who I haven't actually watched like a whole lot of Seattle Rain matches this season, interestingly enough. So I'm not like totally engrossed in what their team sort of looks like. Um, I know they're fifth on the table, I think, but like everyone's so bunched up on the NWSL table right now, except I think Kansas City's like 5 points ahead in first, and Chicago and Utah are far down on the bottom. But like everyone
Tied
else is
though.
tied
Tied.
though. We're just losing by goal differential significantly. The middle of the table is just like so compact. So whether or not Seattle is like a fifth best team in the league or lower, I think remains to be seen. They only have 11 goals on the season, I think, which I say only as if we don't have less than that. Um,
8.
Eight. Yeah, one. Yeah, I think we have eight. I think that I don't know. I could look, and I will look because I'm interested now.
I believe it's 8 because I think we had
5 points,
6
eight
going into
goals.
the game.
Yeah, eight goals. Yeah. So who are you sort of looking at in this match that Chicago maybe needs to worry about?
Well, defensively, Jordan Bugg is one of the best defenders in the league as one of the youngsters. And that is going to be an interesting thing. Obviously, Lou Barnes is back there too. Claudia Dickey is one of the best keepers, statistically the best keeper in the league this year. And so those are some key players. Obviously, Jess Fishlock, in the midfield kind of runs the show. Haidema was out this last week.
Yeah.
Not sure what was going on there. And Adamas, when she plays, is very good, as well as Darlene, who is also fantastic. Lots of youngsters mixed with lots of veteran players on that team, and very talented youth players that Laura Harvey has done a really good job of integrating into play with the vets. So lots of talent all around.
Yeah, I
Oh, and
remember.
then Lynn Biondolo on top of it.
Yeah, I remember watching Adamas last season and being like, this this player, this kid's gonna play really well in the future. Like you can sort of just like watch her and you can see um the talent like that she has. She just needs to be like molded a little more. Um and I think like I think she has 2 goals on the season so far this year. I think she could have a lot more, but I think she's been playing really well. I think Sam and whoever is playing next to Sam, whether it be Carrie or Natu, um, I think will have their hands full with her. Um, but I think they've kind of stood up to the challenge of many uh, top strikers in this league so far. So I think, especially with Sam getting healthy more and more each week, I think they can handle Adamas. And I'm not like you said, like defense wise, like I think Seattle has a great defense in the middle specifically, and then Dickey is just like an underrated talent. So we'll see kind of how Chicago decides to handle this. They'll be in front of a I would hope a decent crowd. I believe the Chicago Fire are holding their tailgating during the Chicago Stars match, so don't expect a lot of Fire fans to be inside watching that match, at least the first part of it. Um, but yeah, it'll be a fun one to watch. Soldier Field doubleheader with the Chicago Fire. Like I said, back in 2022, I thought that match was great. The attendance I think was like 22,000 or something like that. It was less than that because they combined both matches and there were plenty of Fire fans that were walking out while I was walking in to watch the Stars because fair game. I didn't watch your match. You don't have to watch ours.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious about the crowd, and I think it'll be interesting. Seattle hasn't had really a lot. They've made so many lineup changes, so it's hard to
Yeah,
say who's going
it's
to
hard
be
to.
starting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like this last game, Lynn didn't start, Darlene didn't start, Fishlock didn't start, and so it's like, well, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what that means for our game. Like I don't know. And so I'll be curious to see what lineup they throw out there. They sometimes play a little bit of a three back too, so that will be interesting. Laura Harvey's always very tactically savvy, so I'll be curious to see what formation she puts out there against Chicago.
yeah. Lynn's been kind of going off with the U.S. Women's National Team. Like when she comes in as a sub, it's like, why are you and why are you good?
Yeah, I
I know you're not the biggest Lynn fan, but she just keeps scoring. And she keeps scoring
yeah,
for Seattle too. So I believe she has multi goals on the season this year.
that I do not know.
She has 1 goal and an assist. So she has more with the national team. So, but
Yeah, I think it's trying to because she's new to the team this year, so I think trying to learn the
yeah,
system is a big thing too.
yeah. But like I said, I hope everyone enjoys the match. Soldier Field's a fun place to be. Um, if you are going for the Chicago Fire match, I hope you do go watch the Stars. I know they're not the most entertaining product on the pitch currently, but they can be. at times. So who knows what they're going to kind of come out with against Seattle.
You
Um,
never
we
know.
we haven't seen them against Seattle yet, which is kind of crazy to think about considering we played them like twice in the first like 5 matches last season, and now it's taken all this time up until June, the middle of June, to see them once this season. So yeah, go watch the match if you're a Stars fan and you have the time. Stay for the Fire. Um, yeah, it'll be a good experience. Soldier Field, if you've never been, I think is a fun place to be. The Bears are obviously not staying at Soldier Field, so I'm curious what that's going to become now that the Fire have announced that they're going to build their own soccer-specific stadium in that area in the South Chicago or whatever it was near Chinatown. So that's like a fair game for whoever wants that stadium, I guess. It's kind of crazy. Just gonna be a concert venue at this point.
It's wild because that's like an iconic place, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think they should strip it down, like the UFO that sits on top of it, or the toilet bowl or whatever that people call it. They should just strip it down back to the old columns and make
Yeah.
it a soccer stadium. I think that would be fun.
And Laura Ricketts can buy it.
I
And
mean, yeah, I would not want it to be in the Chicago city's hands, but
no.
that's
And
but
put new grass in.
put new grass. I think they did put new grass in a couple
Okay.
years ago. They stopped with the
Good.
Kentucky bluegrass, so that's gone. I believe so. I can't remember which coach did that, but
There's
someone
been
did it.
so many for the
There's
Bears.
been so many. So yeah. Yeah, all right. So we'll talk about Seattle next week. Share your thoughts with us on your experience at the match, the Soldier Field doubleheader. For now, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as all of our podcast platforms. You can go to redstarsreport.com. We'll be back next week. We'll recap the match against Seattle, and hopefully we won't be talking about any VAR stuff.
Let's hope not.
We'll see you next week for another Red Stars Report.